I stopped forcing them to make apologies immediately. And I allow screen time when I'm supposed to be engaging with them. According to Parenting Instagram, I'm doing everything wrong. But here's the thing. My kids are thriving and I'm really enjoying being a parent right now. So let me tell you 10 parenting rules that I broke and why I would do it all over again. Now, this is real talk. Parenting culture has become exhausting. There are rules for everything. When they eat, what they eat, when they should play, what they should play with, the activities that they engage in, how you discipline them. And if you're on social media at all, you're constantly seeing perfect parents doing homemade sensory bins at 6 a.m., preparing organic breakfasts. It's unbelievable. And I tried to follow those rules. I really did. And you know what happened? I was anxious, exhausted, and honestly, I wasn't enjoying my kids. So I started breaking some of these rules. I didn't break the safety rules, not the brush your teeth rules, but the arbitrary ones that were sucking the joy out of being a parent. And I want to give you permission now to do the same thing. Now, the breaking point for me was at my son's birthday party. I had made a Pinterest perfect organic birthday cake, free of sugar and dyes. It was organic, amazing. I spent hours working on it. He took one bite of that cake, he spit it out, and he said, "It is yucky." I didn't blame him. A friend of mine had brought a couple of cupcakes. They were bright blue frosted cupcakes. They were beautiful. He devoured 2 of them immediately. He had the biggest smile on his face. I'm looking at the cake and I'm thinking, who am I doing this for? The Instagram algorithm? Other moms and dads? Because clearly it wasn't for my kid. That was the day I started to question every parenting rule I could think of, at least importantly to me, the ones that I was following blindly. So rule number 1 that I broke, no screen time before age 2, and limit that screen time to 1 hour a day. They're going to have screens for the rest of their lives. They're going to grow up with them. They need to understand technology. And I'll be honest, my kids watch more than 1 hour of television some days. When I'm sick, they get screen time. When I need to make dinner, they get screen time. When I'm on an important work call, you better believe there's screen time. The AAP says to limit screens, and I understand that. I get it. I understand the science. But they don't live in my house. They don't have my kids. They don't have my circumstances. So what I do now, well, I'm intentional about what they watch. Educational shows, not random videos. And I balance it with active play. Some days are heavy screen days. Some days we barely touch it. And my kids are hitting all of their developmental milestones. The rule made me feel like a failure. Breaking it made me feel like a functional parent. And remember, they're going to grow up with these screens. They need to know how to use the technology. Rule number 2 is that I would make them apologize immediately. I broke this rule. I stopped forcing my kids to say sorry after they hurt someone. Now, I know that sounds bad, but hear me out. When we force apologies, kids learn that saying sorry is just a way to get out of trouble. It's just temporary. It's in the moment. It's their escape route. They say it without meaning it, without understanding what it really means. So what I do instead now is I focus on repair. Your brother is crying because you took that toy away from him. What can we do to make him feel better? Can you give it back? Can you get him another toy? Now my kids actually understand the impact of their actions. And when they do say they're sorry, it's because they actually feel sorry. That's what I want for them, right? Empathy can't be forced. It has to be taught. And we do the same thing in business. When there's a mistake, we say, what can we do to make it right? That's what I want my kids to learn. The rule number 3 that I broke is always eating dinner together as a family. Now, this is a big one because my wife and I were both raised in cultures where eating dinner together was important. Pinterest and parenting experts say that family time is sacred, and I love that idea. But the reality is that my toddler eats at 5:30 in the evening because he's going to lose his mind. He gets hangry. My older kid, he eats around 6 or 7. My wife eats a little bit later, and if I get home a little bit later after that, if we all ate together, everybody would be melting down. So we broke it up. Sometimes we do eat together on the weekends. Sometimes I sit down while they're eating and I have some tea. And After dinner, when everybody's eaten at different times, we have game time instead. See, connection doesn't have to happen just at dinner. It just has to happen. So find those times, make that time for them. Rule number 4 that I broke is to never use food as a reward. I've been in the fitness industry for over 20 years, and the experts say don't use food as a reward because it creates unhealthy eating relationships, unhealthy relationships with food. I understand that. I get the logic. But you know what? Sometimes bribery works. And I'm not ashamed to say if you sit through this dentist appointment, afterwards, we'll get some ice cream. If you try one bite of the broccoli, just one bite, you can have a cookie after dinner. What I don't do, I don't make them earn regular meals. I don't withhold food as a punishment. But using a treat as motivation for hard things, yeah, I do that. And honestly, as an adult, I do the same thing for myself. I reward myself with treats after a tough day. So why can't my kid have a lollipop after he gets his hair cut? In fact, I tip really well at the barber, and they always give him a couple. Rule number 5, well, kids should play independently by age 3. Around the time my son was 4 years old, he would still ask me to play with him constantly. Now, according to developmental charts, he should have been playing independently by then. I used to worry about it. It used to stress me out. Am I making him too dependent? Is he behind? But then I realized he's 4. He's not going to be asking me to play with Legos when he's 16. This phase is temporary. So yes, I sat on the floor and I played and I pretended more than I wanted to. But I also set some boundaries. I'd say, I'm going to play for 15 minutes, then I have to make us dinner or I have to make us lunch. I also remembered that those moments are soon going to be memories. This is an opportunity for me to play with my son right now. He's learning that I'm available in those moments, and I also had some limits. So he's learning really good lessons. He's spending time with his dad. Rule number 6, healthy snacks only. Ugh, this is a tough one. My kids eat goldfish, okay? They drink juice boxes. They have gummy snacks in their lunchbox. My oldest knows where I keep the candy. I tried the Whole Foods thing. I made kale chips. My kids treated them like as if I was punishing them. So here's my new rule. I offer healthy options at meals, but snacks, sometimes they're processed. Sometimes they're convenient, and that's okay. My kids also eat fruit, vegetables, and protein. Balance doesn't mean perfection. It's really important. The rule made me feel like a bad dad every time I opened a granola bar package, right? Breaking that rule gave me a little bit of peace, and my kids really enjoy it. Rule number 7, this one I broke. I'm not supposed to show any anger. I don't understand this one. I've yelled. I've shown anger. I said because I said so when I ran out of patience one time, a couple times. Parenting books say always stay calm, and I try, but I'm human. I have emotions. What I do now, I apologize. I do it the same way I explained for them to apologize. Daddy yelled, and that wasn't okay. I was frustrated, but, I needed some time. My kids are learning that I make mistakes and that I repair them. Back to that valuable lesson. I'm not a perfect, calm parent. I'm a real parent, and I'm trying my best all the time. And they see that, and they feel that. And they also understand that when I get angry, I really mean it. I'm probably upset. Rule number 8 that I broke is never letting them sleep in your bed. Co-sleeping is controversial. I get it. But my toddler still crawls into bed at 3 a.m. And you know what? Sleep experts say to put them back in the bed. I'm not going to do that. I'm tired. I don't want to wake up at that point. He falls back to sleep in just 30 seconds, and I let him stay there. Is it a bad habit? Possibly, but he's 3. One day he's going to be a teenager. He won't want to be around me at all. Right now, he wants to snuggle. He wants to be close. And I'm choosing the sleep and the snuggles over some rigid rule. Now, rule number 9 that I broke, don't do things they can do themselves. Look, independence is great. Teaching self-sufficiency and resilience is important. But you know what else is important? Not being late to preschool every single day. Your 5-year-old can probably tie his shoes, but if it takes him 10 minutes and you're already running late, it's an unnecessary stress. So yeah, sometimes you can do it for him. Sometimes I zip my son's jacket. Sometimes I pour his milk, even though I know he can do it. I'm not raising a helpless kid. He does those things on the weekends. He understands how to do them. But when we have time, on a Tuesday morning, when I have 4 minutes to get out the door, I'm tying his shoes. I'm pouring his milk. I'm getting him ready to go. Rule number 10 that I broke is you have to love every moment. Wow, this one is a key. The guilt, right? You feel that guilt? This is a big one. And I think it needs to be said more and more. I don't have to love every single moment of parenting. There, I said it. I don't have to love the tantrums. I don't have to love the 5 a.m. wake-up calls. I don't like those. I don't love the repetitive questions or the whining or the power struggles. The cherish every moment culture is toxic because it makes us feel guilty for being human and having those emotions. Here's the truth. I love my kids fiercely, but I don't have to love them every single moment. Some moments are really, really hard. Some days I count down to bedtime, and that doesn't make me a bad parent. It makes me an honest one. So let's recap the 10 rules that I broke. Screen time limits, those forced apologies, family dinner every night, food as a reward, independent play expectations, only healthy snacks, never parenting in anger, no co-sleeping, and making them do everything themselves, and of course, loving every moment. Here's what I want you to hear. These rules might work for some families. They might even work for your family. But if they don't, you're not failing. Parenting isn't about following a rule book. It's about raising kids who feel loved, secure, and capable. And you get to decide what that looks like for your family. Okay, now it's your turn. Which parenting rule have you broken? Drop it in the comments. I want to hear the ones you don't regret. It's really important. And if you need to hear this, you're doing a great job as a parent. Your kids don't need perfect. They need you. They need you to set the example. If this gave you permission to let go of some of that guilt, hit that like button and subscribe because I'm making more real parenting, not perfect parenting content. Next week, I'm covering the parenting rules I actually do follow religiously because yes, there are some non-negotiables that are important to me. So subscribe so you don't miss that one. You've got this, my friend. Now, go parent your way.